the deep-shadowed woods have always held a mysterious allure. Many of us are drawn to nature, seeking adventure, peace, or the beauty of the wild. But for some, the forest hides more than just trees and wildlife. It can conceal dark secrets, chilling encounters, and unexplainable events. Today, we're diving into some terrifying forest encounters discovered while hiking in the United States. These stories are real, and they might make you think twice before venturing into the woods again. Our first story takes us to the Great Smoky Mountains, a beautiful yet haunting region on the border of North Carolina and Tennessee. This national park is known for its mist-covered peaks and dense forests, but it also has a darker side. In 2007, a hiker named Dennis Martin went missing during a family camping trip. The circumstances surrounding his disappearance remain unsolved to this day, and the search for him became one of the most bizarre in U.S. history. Dennis, a 6-year-old boy, was hiking with his family near the Spence Field area when they noticed him playing with his siblings just a few yards away. In the blink of an eye, Dennis vanished. The family searched frantically, but there was no sign of him. Authorities were called, and soon hundreds of searchers, including volunteers, park rangers, and even rescue dogs, flooded the area. What makes this case so eerie is that despite a massive search effort that lasted for days, no evidence of Dennis was found. No footprints, no clothing, nothing. Just the haunting thought of how a young child could vanish without a trace. Over the years, theories have ranged from animal attacks to possible human involvement, but no concrete answers have surfaced. Some believe there is something far more sinister at play in the Smoky Mountains, as if the forest itself is hiding something. Now, we head west to the dense, towering forests of the Pacific Northwest. The Olympic National Park in Washington State is home to some of the oldest, most secluded wilderness in the country. But in 2016, hikers in the park experienced something that would change their views on the area forever. A group of hikers was trekking the Enchanted Valley Trail, a remote path known for its breathtaking views and challenging terrain. As they reached a secluded area of the forest, they noticed something unusual, strange figures moving in the distance. At first, they thought it was another group of hikers, but as they approached, the figures seemed to disappear into the trees, vanishing without a sound. Confused and a bit unnerved, the hikers continued on, but the strange sightings didn't stop. Several times along the trail, they glimpsed shadowy figures moving between the trees, always just out of reach. The eeriest part? None of these figures made any noise, and no one else was supposed to be on that part of the trail. As they made their way back to their campsite, the hikers started hearing footsteps following them through the underbrush. But every time they stopped to look, no one was there. The sense of being watched grew stronger with each step. It was as if the forest itself had come alive, silently observing them. To this day, no one knows who or what was lurking in those woods. Our next story takes us to the Ozark National Forest in Arkansas. This area, known for its rolling hills, crystal-clear streams, and thick, untamed woods, is a favorite spot for hikers. But in 1950, a young boy named Harold, just 8 years old, disappeared during a family outing. His vanishing still remains one of the most perplexing forest disappearances in U.S. history. Harold's family was hiking along the Ozark Trail when, at one point, the boy wandered a little too far from his parents. They called out to him, but there was no reply. When they searched for him, he was nowhere to be found. No one had heard him cry out. No sound of footsteps, just an eerie silence. Search teams were quickly dispatched, and an extensive search began. Days passed, and no sign of Harold emerged. Strangely, though, the area where he disappeared had been thoroughly combed over. The The search dogs couldn't find a trace of him, and there were no signs of animal activity. A week later, after the search had been officially called off, a hiker walking in the forest stumbled upon a small, abandoned campsite in a remote area. Inside, he found Harold's backpack, still filled with his belongings. But the boy himself was never seen again. To this day, no one knows what happened to him. Some believe the boy might have wandered off and become lost in the wilderness. Others suggest something far more sinister, a mysterious figure, an animal attack, or perhaps even something supernatural. Now we venture to one of the most remote and unforgiving places in North America, the wilds of Alaska. The state's vast wilderness is both beautiful and brutal, with some areas so isolated that human activity is nearly non-existent. But in 2015, a hiker named Josh encountered something that would forever change his perception of the Alaskan wilderness. Josh was an experienced outdoorsman who had trekked across many parts of Alaska. He was hiking alone in the Brooks Range, a mountain range in the northern part of the state, when something strange happened. While walking along a ridge, he saw something moving in the distance, too large to be a bear and too erratic to be a human. Curious, Josh decided to follow the figure, but as he approached, it disappeared into the dense brush. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Soon after, he heard strange, unnatural noises, low growls, like something was breathing heavily. But when he turned around, there was nothing there. He quickly made his way back to his camp, but the sounds continued through the night, echoing through the silent forest. Josh never discovered what had stalked him that night, but he left the area the very next morning. Some locals believe that the Alaskan wilderness is home to creatures no one has ever seen, animals, cryptids, or even something far more supernatural. What Josh experienced remains a mystery, but it's a reminder that the wild can be far more dangerous than we realize. These stories are just a few examples of the terrifying encounters that have occurred in the forests of the United States. Whether it's the disappearance of a child, the eerie sightings of shadowy figures, or the feeling that something is watching from the depths of the trees, the wilderness has a way of hiding its darkest secrets. So, the next time you decide to go hiking, remember to stay vigilant and be aware that sometimes the forest itself may not want you there.